Hi, I'm Allison Potts, and to address the first question of reflecting on different theories and approaches discussed in the North House text, specifically what resonated with me the most would be the idea of leadership as a relationship. I agree with this the most just because I believe it more in the idea of leadership as a nurturing process rather than a nature process, and that someone isn't born with innate capabilities, rather they're shaped by their society, their family, the events that happen to them that lead them to become involved in leadership to change that issue. Because I think leadership is available to everyone, and it's also available to everyone in the sense that it's on many different levels. So you can have people who are on the local level, like teachers who are also leaders in a way, teaching subjects which help shape your identities, or they're politicians at the local, federal and state level. So that way it shows that using leadership as a relationship, people can be involved on all different levels but to different capacities, and having these relationships through all levels builds a stronger government in one way, and also just movement to create change. However, despite I believe that leadership is a relationship primarily, I do agree with the text kind of more going in depth to the understanding as leadership as an influential process. And I think these two relate in that without a strong relationship between the leader and the follower, you can't have this influential process. So I think I explored this more in my philosophy draft, but I think by having that foundational belief of leadership as a relationship, it can then turn into an influential process. For the second part of question 1, which explores my belief on agreeing or disagreeing with the author's writing on evolutionary leadership thinking, I pretty much agree with it in that it reflects historical trends in the United States. And I'm kind of excited to see how, because of how much leadership changed in the past 100 years, I'm excited to see how it'll change while I am alive, and my hopes of seeing more women involved, especially at the federal level. And I think it'll also be interesting I was really intrigued by the idea of adaptive leadership because I think it most aligns with my idea of leadership as a relationship. So I'll be interested to see how that theory is explored more and is changed throughout the following years. For the second question about asking family members what adjectives would describe me, the one I got the most was passionate, and I think this is an accurate one in that I'm very passionate about the field I'm going into. I did a project last year about criminal justice, and I interned with a state senator, and that kind of shaped what I wanted to do in college, and I think that translates to kind of my advocacy, my beliefs, and my morals, and how I share that to other people. Some other ones I got were similar ideas of being friendly, kind, and honest. I like to think of myself as a pretty inclusive person and always working to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Other ones I got were intelligent, which I'm kind of surprised about, and that just might be me humbling myself in a way. But I don't think of myself as the smartest person, but I think I'm intelligent in ways that I can be adaptive and work with other situations. One that I was surprised about was independent. I don't really consider myself a super independent person. I like going in groups. I like interacting with people, but I think that would be something cool to develop myself while I'm in college. 5 core values that are important to me is first, the golden rule. Second, giving people the benefit of the doubt. Third, organization. Fourth, the idea of whatever is your best, and if you're giving your best at that current time, then that's all you can ask of yourself. And fifth is the idea of whatever happens, happens. The golden rule has kind of been ingrained in me since I was a young kid, and I think treating people with respect helps with the idea of leadership as a relationship, and that you don't want to treat them mean or accusatory, because then that doesn't create an environment where people feel open to share or work with you in future endeavors. I think that also can tie into my second idea of giving people the benefit of the doubt, as you don't know exactly what situation or they may be going through at home or at school, and so how they're treating you or expressing their beliefs may just be a way of acting out. So you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, treat them with respect, and work on understanding and being knowledgeable about their situation and in efforts to try and help them. Third is organization. if you don't have organization, you're not going to know how to help people. You won't be able to time manage. You won't be able to pick what's the most important ideas for you or the people you're representing. So without organization, you can't move forward. I think also the idea of whatever happens, happens, and giving your best at that moment is really important, in that leadership is ever changing, and you're going through personal struggles, your followers are going through personal struggles, and knowing that where you will end up is where you're meant to be, but still strive for the goal of your ultimate achievement that you're looking for, whether it be in a small group or a large setting. And if you can just ask for yourself for that day, I'm going to give my best foot forward, then I think people will understand and feel that. For the social change model, I kind of look at it as a way that reflects leadership on the individual level. So looking more at the individual values and the consciousness of self, congruence, and commitment. I think these three offer the best way to be introspective about yourself, and learning your strengths and your weaknesses, and rather than trying to find them in yourself just by yourself, you instead learn from that, and you then go out to your community and to your group values, which is another section of the social change model. So I think the idea of being introspective, the idea of committing to yourself the best you can be, but also committing to your followers that you will give your best in hopes of their best, I think all works together, and more reflects a personal first belief in yourself that can then be reflected in the group and then in society. For choosing quotes from the 2 Canvas readings, from Sell Your Cleverness, I chose, "The more you take things personally, the more you suffer. You observe it, hold it up to the light, release it, and move on." I thought this was a really powerful statement, and that it's something I kind of learned a lot throughout high school. I used to definitely take things in and keep it into myself and kind of self-reflect and be very introspective about it, but I learned, instead of just, which is good to some extent, however, kind of deteriorate my idea of self and how I want to represent myself and be a good friend to other people. And so I've learned throughout high school, and kind of I will continue to learn through college, is to receive the information, take it, and live with it for a little bit, but learn to let go of it more. Because without letting go of it, you can't learn from yourself, and that if you hold it in, it's just going to destroy your understanding of yourself. And then from Defining a Citizen Leader, I chose the quote, "For citizen leaders, politics is the public expression of society's sense of community and of the common interests of its members." I think this is the kind of idea I hope to encapsulate when I go on in my career. I really want to have a career in politics, and specifically criminal justice. And so I think the idea of being a citizen leader first, and putting your community's common interests and your followers' common interests first, and their hopes and their dreams, then that's the best way to achieve your personal goals and the best way to feel fulfilled, instead of being fulfilled through awards and accolades. Rather, you're getting fulfillment through the happiness and the joy and the accomplishment of the community's goals, rather than a stone or trophy.